Yeah, I guess aside from a lot of the records that you've bowled in the 164 average at Wheaton Triangle, a lot of people don't know that you carried 160 at Capital Plaza one year. Was
Right, right. It was in 1979, I believe, and it was with Pat bowling doubles with Pat Rinaldi, and and that had an interesting finish to it. I had with Pat and I bowled together. It was double, mixed doubles, pro doubles, whatever, and there was no handicap. So Pat was carrying 140 and I carried 160, as it turned out, and so we won the league by 15 games. So we was just smoking them. You know, we really, had the upper hand on everybody that year. So with 2 weeks to go, I got 160.86. So the next to last week, I shoot 458. So I got 160.64 with 1 week to go. But I wasn't, macho. I wasn't going to sit out the last week and make sure I had my 160 average. I was going to bowl, and wasn't there a famous baseball player that it might have been Ted Wiz or somebody batted 400, I think, and they could have sat out the last day and had kept the 400, but I think they went ahead and played and kept the 400 average in baseball, I think. So anyway, I was going to bowl, and so I did bowl. And I started the last night out. So I need 416 average, 416 set in order to finish with 160 or better, which at the time had never been done. But this was the first couple of years they had souped the lanes up, so the scores were now, it was an impossibility prior years, up till about 2 years before that, it was impossible altogether. I mean, there's no way anybody could average 160. But with the raised gutters and the sideboards and all, that made it possible. So anyway, I start the last night of bowling with a double strike. Double header right out the gate. I don't have to tell you, everything went south the rest of the night. I got 2 frames to go. I need 2 marks to get 416. I broke, in the 9th frame of the 3rd game, I broke 9 and made it. So I still got I need like 35 pins the last 2 frames to average 160. 10th frame, I know, and I'm feeling the heat a little bit, I'm saying, I blew this, I'm not going to believe this, I'm going to be sick if I don't carry the 160. So anyway, I hit 6 off the side and leave the 1, 2, 6, 10. And my second ball, I just crushed the 1, 2, and it just went like a single. And crushed 9 on it and had 160.0. 160.0. That was it, right? Ruby Evans, remember Charlie and Ruby Evans?
Yeah.
Ruby Evans was the secretary, and she kept all the stats, so I'm sure they were all correct and proper,
Right.
And but I made the 1, 2, 6, 10 and put 9 on it, and 160 on the nose, on the nose. I would have been sick if I'd have let that slip through my fingers, but I wasn't about sitting on the bench trying to keep my average or whatever, and.
Right.
And we had the leg won, but I didn't foresee running into that kind of a rough night, but it happened. All of a sudden, I guess I started thinking about it, pressing a little bit, and I don't know. But thankfully, I managed to get those last 2 marks and ended with 160. But